content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to modern audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to modern audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to audiences. Your discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a tale that'll make you understand exactly what you're listening to tonight. It's a tale of two young Canadian boys, separated by the vastness of Canada, wandering through the tundra, wondering how their favorite thing of all, wrestling, had become so cartoonish, how John Cena had a t-shirt, a different color every month that you seem to have to own, and matching hats and what other crap he had. It was a sad time where wrestling just seemed to be the dreaded soap opera. But then, by the gracious powers of Alannis Morissette, the two young men had their eyes opened to the world of independent wrestling. Out of the ashes rose things like Ring of Honor, MLW, New Japan, and these two young men knew their purpose in life was to show it to you. Hey fans, welcome to another edition of WPOV Global. I'm your host, the legend T.J. Logan, and with me as always, my co-host and fellow Alannis Morissette lover, the gentleman himself, Elio Canella. Elio, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. What is going on, listeners?
You know what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. A heck of a lot of good wrestling. It has been a fat-packed week of wrestling. Yep. And folks, we're not kidding. We've been all over the world. We've had pay-per-views. We've had all kinds of stuff going on. We've had tournaments finishing and new stuff starting. And Elio.
Yes, sir.
Before I get too crazy, how did your week go?
My week was great. And speaking of Alannis Morissette, now you know how I've been into this trivia gaming stuff.
You've mentioned it many, many times.
And last week, I happened to open the app on a Sunday afternoon, and every day is a different theme. Last Sunday, I opened the app to check out what the theme was for that day, and it was none other than Alannis Morissette.
Oh, praise be to the gods. My goodness. Tell me you did well, Elio.
I did very well. I got 6 out of 6. I smoked that game.
Excellent, excellent. Representing Canada, the true north.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, folks. I tell you, Elio, I had a fat pack wrestling week. I mean, not only did we have a bunch of New Japan stuff on top of our regular stuff, but I agreed to appear on Wrestling POV on the Friday episode or the Saturday episodes, and I gotta tell you, I had a lot of fun. Well, I teamed up with Rick Serrano III, a very bitter and left behind Rick Serrano III, betrayed by Tony and Mimi and that evil little sock puppet Miguel. All of them apparently flown to Las Vegas on the president's dime. Yeah, the POV president. So I don't know. Did you get an invite to Vegas? Because I didn't. Elio, you didn't go to Vegas.
I didn't get an invite. Nope. Mine must have got lost in the mail.
Yeah, I guess me and you were like, don't give those stinky Canadians. They have to get a passport or something. But you know what? It was Rick. I'm going to throw props out there. Yeah, people say he brags a lot because he's the first blah, 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 first this. But let's face it, he is. He even won our first points game. And folks, he was the only guy who entered it who finished with a positive above 0 points. And that's including me, Elio, and Tony. Mm-hmm. And we all expected Mimi to lose, so she did get the Evil Beaver Award, which was pretty funny itself. I did notice the little coward sock puppet didn't enter this time, so obviously he wasn't up for his regular cheating collusion with you. I know you got all silent over that, but anyways, fans, it was great. I had a fun time. Me and Rick threw out a lot of point of views. We talked about a lot of stuff, and it was It was great. I enjoyed it, had a lot of fun, and he's probably the only guy I would actually, fill in if asked for. I'm not so sure about Tony or Mimi, and definitely not Miguel. There's no way in hell I'd do a show with Miguel. The two of us? What are we going to do, sit and insult each other for an hour?
I'll set up the steel cage if that day ever comes. I might have to referee that match.
Cheese grater into there.
I might have to referee that match.
Well, you know what, fans? There was a lot of tremendous wrestling.
Oh, hold on. Before you go on.
Yeah?
Did you get that restraining order renewed?
I'm glad you brought that up. Folks, I had mentioned about putting a restraining order against Miguel Cole, not because I'm afraid of him, because I'm afraid of what I'm going to do to him. So I had one that was strictly in Canada, but when I went down there, I went all the way, Elio. I paid the extra, $7 Canadian,
wow.
And I got it upgraded. And it's not just for Canada or the US or the world. It's also the entire Milky Way.
Oh, wow.
If that Miguel tries to bump into me somewhere in some far-off star on the other side of the galaxy, I can legally have him thrown in jail or set him on fire. So whatever one I feel on. And let's face it, I'm probably going to set him on fire. So, you got me worked up already. I had somebody for the book this week, and now you're making me just think of that person and Miguel, and I just hate this person even more. I can hardly wait till we get to the book. You woke me up already.
Oh, that should be fun.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know what, fans? Before we get into the news, we put out a poll this week. A poll which, you know what? This poll, and let me tell you, folks, we don't just put up polls willy-nilly. If you don't know what that means, go look it up. We don't put up, these polls willy-nilly. This poll actually confirmed something with me, because I had this idea that let me tell you the poll first. The poll was, do you fans think that Impact Wrestling is worth covering on our show on a weekly thing? Should we be covering the show? Is it worth it to you? What do you think, Elio? Is Impact worth following right now?
Impact Wrestling is the reason I drink.
Oh my. Yeah. So I'm going to take that as a no. Fans, you may have noticed, if you're wondering what my answer is, you may have noticed that I have sloughed off the Impact Report since the beginning to Elio, because I just can't stand watching that show. Every now and then I'll peek at it, but most times it was just getting to the point where I just Elio can cover it. I'll just yell at whoever's on there. And
I wanna like it. I mean, I really do. I want them to do good. I always try to find that one good thing, but it's hard.
But it's hard. I mean, for every Jordan Grace, for every who's another good wrestler in there right now? I can't even think of any. But there's a couple. For all these good wrestlers, you get this crap of undead brides.
You have a ridiculous Tommy Dreamer, a ridiculous Sami Callihan.
Yeah, I mean, when those guys are in the main events, and it's... So anyways, me and Elio had toyed with the idea of dropping Impact coverage from our show. But then we threw out a poll there to see what the fans... Because, I mean, if you fans are all overwhelmingly saying, no, we want to hear Impact... Well, then we got to bite the bullet and do Impact. But according to this week's poll, after everything was counted and said and done, 52% of you said Impact is not worth watching.
Wow.
It's not worth us covering, and that we're wasting our time. 48% of you, and I'm guessing that's 48% who hang out at the liquor store with Elio, say that it's not that bad and maybe we should watch it. We had a few comments, and I'm trying to dig them up. One of them just... When I read the comment, I love you viewers, okay? Let me preface by saying I love you viewers. But sometimes with some of the things you people say, just, wow.
Oh, no.
Just wow. Okay, is Impact worth following? All right. There was a person who wrote on here. Well, first of all, Tyrese Fuller started off with saying most voters are haters. Now, I didn't understand that. Does he mean that because they don't like Impact, they're haters, or because, Tyrese, be a little more, I don't ever want to assume what you guys are saying, so please be a little more clear. Now, this one, I hope you have that bottle you saved that you usually drank with Impact that you didn't use this week, because you might need it after this comment, okay? Tina M. Hunter wrote, here are my reasons Impact Wrestling is worth following. Reason number one is that after seeing Tessa Blanchard get distracted in so many matches by Gail Kim, It was entertaining to see how mad she got. Okay, that's something. And reason 2, Johnny Impact and his wife plan schemes to win matches is like the ultimate goal of me not missing a match that I watch every week just to see what the other scheme they have up their sleeves. Wow.
I'm sorry, what?
The only thing I can... Exactly, because Tyrese Fuller actually wrote that underneath. He's like, Tina M. Hunter. What? Yes, that is definitely what I would expect from the comment, the kind of comment I would expect from someone who really follows that stuff. Okay, I have no words of wisdom to answer you, Tina M. Hunter. I could take a brick, hit myself in the head with it, and maybe give you an answer that would make sense for Impact.
Oh, no.
But I don't think I really want to invest that into my own head. So yes, 52% of you said it's not worth following. 48% of you say it is. So I've made this decision, Elio, that we are not going to cover Impact until it starts making some good waves. Until we start hearing that it's not a disappointment, that it's not like, oh, Elio, we got to drink hard after watching that crap. No. When we find out it's starting to get better, we'll reinvest. But for now, we're not going to be covering Impact, okay?
I think we should cover Impact. I think the day we cover Impact again is the day Tommy Dreamer leaves.
Well, then he'll just show up on another show and ruin it for us. So, I mean,
that's true. He'll ruin that one too. That's true. He's another reason I drink.
So you know what? How about news? I didn't get a chance to scour the world as I usually do for indie news. What do you got for us out there, Elio?
Okay, I've got a couple of ones. For Impact Wrestling, Eli Drake announced on his Twitter that he is officially a free agent after the belief was that he was in breach of his contract, which would have kept him out for a year.
That's some awesome news. That is awesome news. What do you think, Elio? Who do you think? Where should Eli Drake go now that he's open? Should he try make a run for the WWE? Should he try to hook up with AEW? Should he do ROH? What do you think?
If he goes to WWE, I don't know. I just think they're gonna waste him. Look at EC3, what they've done with EC3, which isn't much.
Okay. You know where I think he should go?
Where's that?
Well, I was thinking like you did. He already had his chance in the WWE. They didn't see much in him. They didn't do much with him. AEW is just so chock full of all the indie darlings right now that there might not be room for him to make a name for himself. And ROH, I'm not sure what kind of fit Eli Drake's style is with the ROH model. So, in my head, I thought, why not MLW?
That would be a great place for him.
That he might fit in.
Yep.
MLW is a show I enjoy a lot, and I think they've been, they've reinvented the Hart Dynasty. They've made these guys like something special. I'd like to see Eli Drake over in MLW. Anything else?
And that's about it. That's about it. The rest is just NJPW news that we're going to cover when we get into NJPW Dominion.
Well, you know what? The funny part is, we are now, folks, going into NJPW report. This week, we've been covering a lot of stuff, and this week was like a double main event week for us. You can't always call it pay-per-views, but events in Japan. We had two major ones, and we're going to start off with the oldest one first, of course, which was the finals to the Best of Super Juniors tournament. We've been following this now for 3 weeks. Me and Elio, we actually discussed on the last episode the two final combatants in Shingo, the undefeated Shingo, going up against Will Ospreay, winner of side A and B. Who would win? And well, I'm just going to say before we get into it that me and Elio actually picked the wrong horse on this one. So when we get to that, we'll talk about that. But let's get into the actual matches and the surprise debut of a former WWE wrestler and what it means, I think, to the indie world. First of all, things that are really interesting on this card. They promoted more so the continuing dissension between Jushin Thunder Liger. Sorry, I shouldn't say Justin. Jushin Thunder Liger and Minoru Suzuki, when Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Tiger Mask defeated Dookie, Taichi, Minoru Suzuki, Zack Sabre Jr., and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Now, usually these kind of 10-man matches are just throwaway garbage, but every now and then they're key in reigniting something. And in this one, there was definitely a push for Suzuki and Liger to take this ongoing issue they've had for the last 6 months, where they haven't even really faced each other one-on-one yet. And I think that's what we're going to see. This is definitely Liger's last year of competition. I think we are going to see, maybe even at the Tokyo Dome, maybe that would be the main event, is Suzuki versus Liger. And I'm excited for that. And this match really brought that to the forefront. Another match that stuck in my head, watching Jay White defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi's first appearance in a little while after his injuries. Jay White sporting a kind of ruggeder new look.
I like this new look that he has going.
Yeah, it's good. It works for him. I didn't like the old look as much, but this new look gives him more of a rugged, more dangerous look. And this match was great. He did all the right things. He targeted Tanahashi's injuries. He went after the knees and the elbows and all this sort of stuff, and he takes the match. So I don't know if that's going to be the last we'll see of Tanahashi for a little bit. It might be. He might have to, get back into rehab, get some things more going. The next match is the really interesting one, and I guarantee you, Elio, that there were a lot of WWE fans who would normally not really pay much attention to New Japan watching this match. And that was Jon Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, defeating Juice Robinson for the New Japan Pro Wrestling United States Heavyweight Championship. And I got to tell you, I went in with my reservations because I have not been a Dean Ambrose fan for the last while. I found him very cartoonish. I find his moveset kind of ridiculous, like lacking any kind of gravitas to make it seem like it's real.
Especially towards the end of his run.
Sorry?
Especially towards the end of his run with that
Oh yeah,
that ridiculous mask he used to come out to the ring with and all his promos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And let's face it, like look at his two big things that he does a lot. He does that move that Nigel McGuinness used to use. Now Nigel used to make it look good.
Yep.
And yes, Nigel, I still hate you as an announcer, but as a wrestler or something. That move where you kind of bounce in the middle rope and you come flying back up in a lariat. And you know what? Ambrose made it look ridiculous. It was so cartoonish.
Yep.
And then that little thing he'd do when he'd like get in the ring and then kind of spin on his side and get back out and do a thing is like, it was so painfully awkward and slow. I was like, you literally had to stand there like an idiot and wait for him to do this move.
Right.
And I think moves that make your opponent stand there and wait for it just look terrible.
Yep.
So I was wondering, what were we going to get at? Were we going to get Dean Ambrose or were we going to get Jon Moxley? And folks, Jon Moxley, that guy's the shit, man. He's good. He really took it to Juice Robinson. They had an incredible match. And it put to rest a lot of people's doubts. But you know what, Elio? I'd like to bring something up really quick.
Okay.
Years ago, I interviewed Harry Smith when he had left the WWE.
Sure.
And he went on this big tear across the U.S. and he'd won all these championship belts. And I finally got to see him live in my hometown. And I was blown away how incredibly good of a wrestler he was. Blown away. I didn't know he could even wrestle like that. And I interviewed him afterwards, and I kind of said to him, I saw you in the WWE a lot. I would never have guessed you were such a solid singles wrestler, because all I ever seen you do was tag. And he said, well, in the WWE, you're told to do what you do. He goes, I wasn't allowed to do the things that make me shine as a singles. I was told that I was Tyson Kidd's, setup guy. I set up for him. Tyson did the finish. And he said, it didn't give me a chance to really show what kind of wrestler I am. But now that I'm on the indies, I'm just open up to it. And that's what I think a lot of people are wondering. Was Dean Ambrose going to be, when Jon Moxley was on the scene, was he going to be the same Dean Ambrose cartoon, or was he going to be his own solid wrestler? And even Moxley has said in interviews, how he was held back creatively. And it makes me wonder now, some of these guys that I look at when I do watch WWE, and I think, oh man, why do they have that idiot there? Maybe they're actually being held back too, and maybe I'm missing something important.
Right.
And anyway, what a tremendous match. Moxley wins the belt. Right after winning the belt, I'll wait to the Dominion part. Then the main event. Now, we've been covering this one for 3 weeks. This round-robin tournament, 20 wrestlers all competing for the chance to be the number one contender for Dragon Lee. Now, the way this works is whoever wins the tournament gets an automatic first title shot against the current champion, who at this time is Dragon Lee, at Dominion. So we also get to find out if this person was successful. Now, folks, we've been covering this, and we were both blown away by both Shingo and Will Ospreay.
Yep.
Although we did back El Phantasmo quite a bit. And El Phantasmo was actually, until the final night, was still in the contentions to win his block, but he lost to Taguchi and it knocked him out.
He's such a heel.
We both picked... we had both picked Shingo because of his dominance, but you know what? Will Ospreay takes the match, an incredible match. Folks, look this one up if you get a chance. This is what some really good junior heavyweight matches are all about. These guys were incredible. And Shingo, well, I don't think it really hurts him because I don't really think Shingo is too long for the junior heavyweight division.
I really like these two.
I think he's right on the edge of it. I kind of question sometimes if he actually is. He looks so much bigger than everyone else in that, in the whole division. And as for Will Ospreay, well, Will Ospreay showed us he can take just about any guy. He can take just about anybody and make them look better. And that's basically what he did in this tournament. Just about everybody he fought. Now, the tournament itself had some great things that, we got to see guys like Ren Narita rise up. He's on my radar now. We got to see a guy named Dookie who you could make fun of, but he brought something really unique to this whole tournament with a whole different style of wrestling than everyone else. And, look about Rocky Romero or Sho and Yo. They both had strong ones. But then there were a few guys who just didn't look very good in this tournament, Taka, injured, couldn't finish the last 3 nights of the tournament. I'm thinking of Marty Scurll. I expect a lot more excitement out of him. Jonathan Gresham just kind of floated through. Right. Dragon Lee, the current champion, did not have a good showing. And Ishimori, the Bone Soldier, looked terrible in there. This tournament did not do him any good. I guess I should throw out some props to El Phantasmo and Robbie Eagles, though. They also came off looking strong and solid. Robbie Eagles, I was not sold on this guy whatsoever till this tournament. So, but you know what? That moves us over then to Dominion.
Okay.
And Dominion happened about 4 nights after the Super Juniors. And I'm just going to read you over some of the matches here and tell you how they went. John Moxley defeating Shota Umino. I'm pretty sure everyone knew that Moxley was going to destroy him.
That was the shortest one.
Umino is a young lion, and it was a very short match. Here was an interesting one. Shingo Takagi, after losing the tournament, said he wanted to try his hand at the heavyweight division and demanded a match with Satoshi Kojima. And I'm a big Kojima fan. I really enjoyed this match, but Shingo did take him out. And after the match, Shingo took the mic and said that he wants to be in the G1 tournament. I forgot to mention, yes, John Moxley also threw his name into the G1 tournament.
Yep.
Yoshihashi and Jushin Thunder Liger defeating Zack Sabre and Minoru Suzuki. Once more, we have Liger and Suzuki going at it. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, and Rizuki Taguchi defeating Chase Owens, Jay White, and Taji Ishimori. It was kind of like, I don't know, there seems like there's almost a little bit of dissent between in the Bullet Club right now. It seems like Ishimori is having problems with maybe Robbie Eagles and El Phantasmo. So I'm kind of wondering if that's going to cause any change up in the lineups. This one had to be a given. Never Open Heavyweight Championship, Tomohiro Ishii defeating Taichi. I mean, Taichi is so horrible. Ishii is amazing.
Yeah, I like him. He's one of my favorites.
Oh, my God. IW Tag Team Champions, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa defeating Evil and Sonata. Well, I don't think that was a surprise. The Guerrillas of Destiny have been on a pretty big roll. Now, because he won the tournament, Will Ospreay got a title shot against Dragon Lee for the Junior Heavyweight Championship, and he won. Amazing match. Will Ospreay looked great in it. At the end of the match, he set out 2 things. One, that he wants to enter the G1, so we might have the Junior Heavyweight Champion in the G1.
Okay.
And he announced his first title match will be against Robbie Eagles in Australia.
Ooh, okay.
So that's something to look forward to. Now, in this next match, people have been talking a bit, and not for good reasons. Tetsuya Naito defeats Kota Ibushi for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, wow.
Now, fans, we've watched Kota Ibushi the last little while wrestling some pretty crazy wrestling. Sometimes he does things that look so terrible or get done to him so terribly. You think, how did that guy live? Well, that happened in this match. There was a move in here that happened where Ibushi came down on the back of his head, and you watch that match and you can almost wonder if he just kept wrestling concussed because he looked right out of it. Either that or he's probably one of the best actors in wrestling. But I know a lot of talk around lately is people are worried that maybe wrestlers are going to be trying to do such dangerous moves to get a name out there. And I hope that's not a trend that continues because
in one video they were saying that they were surprised that Ibushi could even walk the following day after that match.
Yeah, if you haven't If you haven't seen what we're talking about, fans, YouTube it, look it up. It's a potentially scary moment. And I'm not always comfortable seeing that sort of thing. So, and then the main event. Now, I know a lot of people are excited to see Okada versus Chris Jericho, but I got to say this is one of the worst Jericho matches I've seen in a long time. This match was terrible. Okada wins. There's just nothing even that remarkable about it. It was not a good match, and I don't know. I don't know. Elio, you got anything to say about this? Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Even Elio is stunned in silence about this. But I got to say, Dominion, all in all, interesting, fun, sometimes dangerous. Main event, not the greatest. But we did get a bunch of people throwing their names into the G1. So I got to tell you, the thought of Will Ospreay, John Moxley, and Shingo in there, this opens up a whole bunch of new guys going into the G1 that haven't in before. So gotta tell you, I'm super excited to see that. And there's where we have a look at this week's New Japan. Lots of stuff, but you know what? Let's go from Japan to England. Let's check in with the WWE UK NXT report. Elio, tell us all what happened on NXT this week.
Hey, so NXT this week came to us from Glasgow, Scotland, of course, and the action begins with The Hunt defeating two guys that we haven't seen in a while, Saxon Huxley and Tyson T-Bone. So Wild Boar hit the cannonball in the corner and a pop-up suplex followed by a double diving headbutt for the win. And The Hunt...
Yeah. I hate the Hunt. They're so ridiculous.
But I have a question. Are they supposed to be faces?
Who knows? They're like miniature road warriors.
I don't even know. I mean, they're just ridiculous.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. Next.
Then we had Kaylee Ray defeating Casey Owens with a dropkick followed by the Widow's Peak.
What do you think of Kaylee Ray?
You know what? Kaylee Ray is she's not bad actually.
Yeah. I've been a little harsh on her looks lately, but she is talented, and I'm glad to see it. This week she looked a little better. Maybe we just got her on a bad week. You know, that happens. High definition television.
Then we had a promo from the Grizzled Young Veterans announcing that they've been ordered to defend their belts. And the main event actually was the Fatal 4-Way to determine the number one contender for Walter's UK Championship. Now, and it was... Sorry, go on.
No, I'm sorry. You announced him because I was going to ask you who you were cheering for in this match.
Oh, I was going with Travis Banks. I was going to pick him. Jordan Devlin, I'm still not sure about. I don't think he's ready for it just yet.
I agree. And let's face it, Coffee, what's his name? Mark? Joe Coffee?
Joe Coffee? Dave Mastiff, definitely not.
Definitely not. Dave Mastiff, I'm surprised he doesn't hang out with the little Hunt guys because they're all little fat men with beards. They call themselves the Gnomes.
But what were we thinking at the first NXT takeover where we were like, oh yeah, Dave Mastiff was pretty good in that hardcore match against Eddie Dennis?
I don't know. We must have been. Maybe we were still drinking. We were still drunk from watching Impact.
This is true. So that was the NXT UK for this weekend.
What would you think about it? What mark are you going to... I'm thinking a mark in my head. What mark are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it a C. It's just a wild boar. The wild boars or whatever, the Hunt just threw me out of it. Took me out of this show this week.
Yeah,
Kaylee Ray was good and the Fatal 4-Way was good. But
I'm going to give it a B- just for the fact that the 4-Way was good and Kaylee Ray was good. But yeah, Mastiff, he throws me off, and so does the Hunt. I don't understand that. And the ridiculousness of, I didn't even realize their names, Ginny and Jazzy. Ugh.
Wait, I'm sorry, say it again. Is that's their names?
Yeah, Ginny and Jazzy.
The Hunt.
Oh, no. Sorry, no. No, I was talking about I was talking about the two chicks that had a promo that you didn't mention in there. Ginny, the horrible
Oh, that's
stretcher.
right, Ginny. That's right. Wow,
yeah.
Wow, look who is involved. She who shall not be named.
Yes. And Jazzy, who's amazing, but Ginny and Jazzy, come on.
I don't know.
That's terrible. That's like the Hunt. Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. No. I forgot to mention that one. That's right. Ginny and Jazzy Gabber did a promo backstage where she said that she'd rather be friends with Jazzy than go against her.
Well, at least that's the one smart thing Jenny's ever said. Well, folks, we are going to take a commercial break. When we get back, we're going to talk some ROH wrestling and some MLW. We're going to look into the Book of Shame. And yes, I have a returnee to the Book of Shame this week. So, folks, indeed. We'll get back to you in a moment.
Hello, this is Miguel Cole from the Wrestling POV podcast. Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global is affiliated with the Collar and Elbow brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com and save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Collar and Elbow has t-shirts, hoodies, sunglasses, and more. And the best part, you're helping out your local indie wrestlers. And you're helping out the best wrestling podcast of all, Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global. You don't want to miss out. So save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Oh my goodness!
Hi, I'm WWE superstar Charlotte Flair, also known as the Queen, and listen to Wrestling POV podcast and always do it with Flair. Woo!
All right, fans, we're back. And you know what? Let's take a look now at some North American action.
Okay.
First of all, Elio, Ring of Honor. Tell me what's going on in this week's Ring of Honor report.
Ring of Honor this week was rather interesting. They were in Chicago, Illinois this week, and we kicked things off with championship action as James Storm took on Colt Cabana for the NWA National Championship, and it ended in a draw because the 15-minute time limit had expired. However, Cabana said he offered Storm 5 more minutes, but was attacked by the Briscoes, who cut a promo about how NWA screwed them, etc. And ROH has been screwing them, so... And then Nick Aldis left his position at commentary to confront the Briscoes and got taken out.
Okay. Before we get into all this action, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't understand why Ring of Honor lets the NWA defend their title on television, why they promoted AEW. I don't understand. Like, this is a competitive world trying to get people, fans, to your brand of wrestling. Help it. Like, the NWA title, if Ring of Honor doesn't let it be defended, it's nothing. It has no television. It has no presence left. I'm just very at a loss here why they would let the NWA World Champion defend his title on their show.
Now, I have a question. You're trying to bring fans in. Isn't that kind of like driving them away towards another company or towards competition?
Well, exactly. And let's face it. As much as I like Nick Aldis as a wrestler and think he's amazing as a person, he's not a draw. Adding him on an ROH card isn't going to have the casual person go, "Oh my goodness, we should go to ROH wrestling." Mm-hmm. Most people don't even know who the hell Nick Aldis is. They remember Magnus maybe,
right?
But Nick Aldis, the NWA, what NWA? What are we in 1814? That belt hasn't existed forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's I don't get it. Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me. So sorry, I'll let you get back to the report. But what? And James Storm. I mean, he didn't even defend his title against an ROH wrestler.
James Storm. I don't even know where the name popped up from. Like, because I know he was at the Supercard, but like now we're seeing him on ROH TV.
Yeah, I at a loss, man. He's not on the ROH roster, so don't understand. Go on.
So then we had a Jeff Cobb interview at part 2, I believe. So I guess they did a part 1. I guess I didn't see that episode last week.
Okay, and then what else?
And then in the main event, it was the main event it was Silas Young defeating the Squid. I believe the guy was called
Jonathan Gresham.
No, it's just some skinny guy, and that he called the Squid.
Oh, so was he making fun of Jonathan Gresham? I didn't actually get to see ROH this week.
Oh, I don't know. Like, he just brought some like skinny guy out that wore a white mask that looked like an octopus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely mocking Jonathan Gresham. Yeah. Jonathan Gresham does, the octopus hold and all this stuff. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
that was the main event?
That was because after that they had Mark Haskins cutting a promo and saying he's a wrestler, not an entertainer, and Bully Ray came out and he he wished that Bully Ray would have retired long ago, and Bully Ray said he tried retiring last year, but everyone was cheering for him.
Oh, brother. What kind of... Was he sharing the drinks you were drinking? Like, come on. So I can't believe Ring of Honor had that few matches this week. The one week I don't actually watch
that
it.
That few matches, yeah.
Wow. I didn't give it, but just from description, I'm going to give it a D. That's terrible.
That was terrible. I mean, come on. Silas Young is better than that.
So Ring of Honor basically gave us a squash match with a nobody and Silas Young, who's not even a top-of-the-card guy. And the other part of the card was two guys who don't belong to their company defending a belt that is an ROH. What the hell is going on in ROH?
Like, the rest was just promos from the Briscoes and Mark Haskins, the Jeff Cobb interview.
Yeah. That's a poor week of wrestling for ROH. I'm sorry. That's definitely a D.
That's definitely a D. Definitely. I mean, I expected better from ROH this week.
Well, you know what? We have coming up right away, folks, the Best in the World pay-per-view coming at the end of the month. And I thought I'd just throw a few of the names out there and just do some quick picks. And as we get closer, maybe next week we'll go over them a little more solidly. But we have listed Flip Gordon versus Roosh. I'm seeing Roosh taking that match. Dalton Castle versus Dragon Lee. I mean, Dalton Castle looks like he's been beat the crap out of him so much lately. And I got to say, I wasn't impressed with Dragon Lee very much over the Super Juniors tournament. But
what do you think of Dalton Castle?
Well, they're obviously trying to make him a villain right now. He's always turning on the boys and saying things like that, and which is funny because it's how he started. You know, it was that was part of his cool gimmick was these little boy slaves, but. I think he really needs to take a couple months off and recuperate. I mean, you see him when he's wrestling; he's wearing so much bandaging and things. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because for a while back, all people were talking about was Dalton Castle and stuff.
Yeah, now he seems to be an afterthought. And his ROH run wasn't very good as the champion. He did not do a lot of defenses, and they weren't great matches. Also on this card, look at this. NWA champion Nick Aldis and NWA national champion Colt Cabana.
What is going on?
I don't know. ROH, what the hell are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
I would make a prediction in this one, but I don't care. I don't care who wins that match. ROH TV champion Shane Taylor versus Bandito. That's humorous. Just imagine they're two different sizes. Shane Taylor's like 800 pounds of sludge, and Bandito is 210 maybe. That's quite the weight difference. But at least Bandito's talented, so maybe he'll carry Shane to something. But we've not been Shane Taylor fans on this show at all, people. The main event, though, our boy, and I know he's your boy too, Elio, Jeff Cobb. Getting a title shot against Matt Taven.
Ooh, that should.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say that Jeff Cobb wins the belt.
Yep.
I think this is his time. You know, I was very surprised that he lost the belt to Shane Taylor, but let's face it, he didn't get pinned or beat. It was a 3-man match, and the other dude took the pin. So you know, he's still in. Jeff Cobb's still in there, strong and looking good. I'm thinking Jeff's gonna go all the way with this.
Yep, I'm going with Jeff Cobb.
All right. Well, now let's take our attention and take a look over at MLW this week.
Okay.
MLW, once again, I mean, it's not going to be hard to beat a C- and a D, so they didn't have much competition. Now, let's face it, if we had been doing Impact, I'm sure they would have done even worse. Sorry, I could not throw that jab out there, okay? So MLW's Fusion Report this week, they opened up with, showing Hammerstein defeating Brian Pillman Jr. for the national title. They had a little thing where he was being interviewed by Rich Bocchini, I think his name is, and he picked him up in a fireman's carry and started doing this stuff, and poor little Rich is just screaming his head off, which was pretty funny. They talk a bit about the Contra unit, and this is where MLW fails, okay? They do so much cool things and then ruin it by doing something so illogical that would never happen in the real world that it takes you out of it. For instance, do you remember when they had that doctor on? They talked about Tom Lawler, and they had like the worst.
How could I forget? How could I forget that?
And then they never talked about it again.
Yeah, that really bad acting.
Yeah, they had the backstage interview, who I haven't seen in a week or two now since we crapped on how horrible she was.
Maybe they heard our show.
Are they listening to the show? I hope so. Love you guys, MLW, but there's a few things you got to work on. Yeah, then they show this thing about Tom Lawler being kidnapped and tortured by Contra Unit. Okay,
Oh my.
and they're pushing for this gritty realism. Yet they say that Tom Lawler is not going to press charges for being kidnapped and tortured. I want to tell you, Elio, I'm not a lawyer, but I do know that anywhere in the world, if you kidnap and torture someone, you don't get to decide that they don't get charged.
Right.
You know? The video evidence is right there. They showed it. If that was any kind of realism, there would at least be the police coming down demanding to talk to the Contra Unit, not like Tom Lawler has heroically decided to fight them himself. Oh, brother.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. That
What is going on?
Okay, first match. Cotto Brazil versus Richard Holiday. Now, Cotto Brazil, I never realized that he's only 5'4", until I read that a couple weeks ago. And then I started really looking at his matches.
Wow.
There's like kids taller than him, like 12-year-olds in the audience. He's a small dude.
Wow.
Richard Holiday,
Okay.
I've been watching this dude for weeks now. He hasn't done anything, but you know what? He is impressive looking in there. He actually had not a bad match. I didn't know what to expect. He takes the win. It's one of those horrible matches where poor, Cotto throws 50 moves at him that Holiday shrugs off a lot of them, and then Holiday nails him with one good move and takes him out. So I guess old Cotto Brazil isn't on top, very high in the pecking order right now in MLW. Then Ace Austin versus Airwolf. Ace Austin. Oh my goodness. Airwolf taking the win. High frenetic matches. A lot of one of those matches where you expect to see signature moves by guys, but instead these guys cut each other off at the move. Maybe saying that they watched each other or prepared for the match, but every time either of them would go for some devastating move they're known for, the other guy would push them off the rope or push them. You know what I mean? Like upset the balance of the move, and that made it kind of interesting.
Yep.
Instead of just a bang bang, look at these guys flipping around crap. Airwolf taking the win. I'm not going to talk about Ace Austin right now because he's coming up in the next segment, and I think you know where that's going. They talk next week. We're going to finally say Flamita in MLW, and Low Key will get his chance against Ricky Martinez. And if you remember last week, Martinez left Low Key to take a beating by the Contra Unit, just left him in the ring, and Low Key taking probably one of his first big beatings in a long, long time.
Wow.
We then went on to Joseph Samuel and Jacob Fatu gloating about what they're going to do to Tom Lawler. And I just want to point this out. Have you noticed that in most 80% of these Contra things that they don't have Simon Gotch in it? It's just the two of them, and then he'll show up. Yeah, I always wonder about that. Why isn't he not in there very much?
Yeah, what's wrong with Simon Gotch?
Yeah, that's a question we've got to throw out there. And the main event, Davey Boy Smith Jr. against MJF. What a mismatch in sizes for one thing. MJF is definitely a mid-heavyweight. Davey Boy, come on, man. He's 6'7", and he's he's a big boy.
That's tall.
And he is such a good wrestler. I enjoyed this match. Of course, it had the usual, what do they call this? The Dynasty out there trying to interfere. Then it has, Teddy Hart
Dynasty
comes running out. Brian Pillman Jr., the Hart Dynasty comes out to join them. And good match. Davey Boy getting the win. One thing I want to throw out there, fans, there has been a lot of talk. I don't know if you knew this, Elio, but in the last little while, MLW had been polling its fans, trying to get information how they saw things. And one of the things they kept asking people is, who would you like to see Tom Lawler fight? And an overwhelming response was Davey Boy Smith Jr., which is a bit of a conundrum since they don't actually show Davey Boy wrestle by himself a lot. He's mostly, he's the tag team champion. He mostly does tag teams in MLW, but the fans obviously want to see him. And I got to tell you, I know this guy rather well. He is a tremendous singles wrestler. And it almost, I get the fact that Teddy leads the Hart Foundation or the Hart Dynasty because he's the mouthpiece and he's talented, but he's definitely a smaller guy. He's definitely better suited for the mid-heavyweights. So, maybe it's time that Davey Boy goes up to the heavyweights, and maybe Pillman and Teddy take care of the tag team stuff. I want to see that. I want to see Davey Boy Smith Jr. taking on Tom Lawler, or at least in any capacity in a world championship setting.
Yep, that should be a good match.
Overall, the show was pretty good. Oh, the one thing I am going to mention, we talked about this jokingly on air before. Next week, Selena De La Renta is going to executive produce the show again. And she has announced that the main event will be the gentleman's favorite all-time wrestler of all time, Sami Callihan.
I'm sure you're mistaken.
Taking on a guy who's becoming my favorite MLW wrestler, Mance Warner, in I believe it's going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match with the loser having to leave MLW.
But wow,
So-
these two just started teaming together. They're already facing each other again.
Yeah, that's going to be a really interesting match. Anyone who knows me knows how much I can't stand Callahan and love Mance, so we definitely know who I'm going to be cheering for.
And Selena De La Renta is
Yeah.
is one of the most entertaining parts of that show every week.
She really is. She really is. You know what I just thought of, Elio, which I think is just hilarious, is remember back in the day when you had loser leave town, it was usually because your territory was small. But it'd be funny if, like, okay, you lost in Chicago, you got to leave town. And then next week he shows up in Milwaukee. He's like, well, it's not the same town. Why does that ever happen in wrestling?
That would be a first.
That would be awesome.
I lost
Anyways,
the loser leaves Woodbridge match. I'm going to have to show up in Toronto now.
Yeah. Or even worse, your street loser leaves 118th Avenue. Crap! I've lived on 118th Avenue for weeks. This sucks.
It's okay.
Anyways,
I'll move around the corner.
This week's, I'm going to give it A minus.
Okay.
There was some good stuff. There were some really good matches and some interesting setup. It loses that minus because I want to punch Ace Austin in the face just because he lives and breathes. All right. How about you, Elio? How you picking?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with an A minus, and again, Ace Austin, but also I still don't get this whole contra. I'm not feeling this team at all.
Yeah, and somehow bringing in the Von Erich, somebody, not only are they wrestlers not familiar with MLW, but they're not familiar with North American wrestling at all. So I'm not sure how that's supposed to be a big coup and win for Tom Lawler, because it's like me saying, you know what, Elio, I'm bringing in Fred Anderson and Joe Bloom who live down the street, and they're going to teach you. Who the hell are those guys? Like, yeah.
Do you think that the Von Erichs are kind of like seem a little out of place, like in the MLW?
A little bit, but they are expanding into the Dallas area, and this is where that match is going to be held. So, they're definitely a draw in Dallas. I mean, that's where their family's from.
Right. Okay. Well.
But you're right. But hey, if anything we've learned about MLW, nobody's actually doesn't fit in there. It seems like when you can go from a guy like Sami Callihan to Mance Warner to Jimmy Havoc to Teddy Hart, there's such different wrestlers, yet they all fit in there. So I kind of think MLW is the place where anyone can fit in, really, as long as you can wrestle.
There we go.
All right, well, you know what?
It's always entertaining.
Wait, you didn't give me your grade. What is the grade for this show?
Oh no, I went with an A minus as well.
Excellent. So I guess MLW, if we were keeping track of this, it seems like MLW is probably one of the last 10 episodes.
Yeah.
I wish they were on a bigger level so more people could see them. Some really good stuff in there. Okay, folks, it is that strange, fun, angry, makes me want to scream sometimes part of the show, which we call the Book of Shame.
Uh-oh.
And this week I have a re-entry into the Book of Shame. But first, Elio, could you do the honors, Mr. Gentleman, and open up the Book of Shame? Let's read who's in there and see if they've got any respite from my anger, or if they're just going to piss me off and have me get angry again.
Well, Warden, the first entry is El Hijo de Los Angeles Park.
Oh, I mean, I can't even get mad at that guy. He's just like it's Mexico's Christmas elf. He's just ridiculous looking in that stupid getup. Yeah, next.
Next is
He stays.
Facade.
Facade, once again, I don't even have the energy to get mad at Facade. He's the guy you should feel sorry for. The guy who would be like, you ever go to school and there's the one guy who, in this day and age, still has a mullet?
Yep.
That's facade. You don't get mad at him. You just think that poor sucker is never going to get anything in life.
Hey, doesn't Brian Pillman Jr. have a mullet?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking like a full out, like at least Pillman pulls it off a little bit. But I mean, I'm talking like the greasy mullet that you see with the kid with the AC/DC t-shirt that's kind of faded out. And he's got ripped, gross girl black pants on, like black jeans that girls used to wear because they stretch. And he's got like his fingernails painted black because he thinks he's going to join a band someday. Well, that's a little specific, but yeah, okay, next.
Wow, that's detailed. Next is that word that begins with F.
That's turning my...
Which
I hate that word, folks. I'm not even saying it.
Which I believe
But
we
yeah,
heard.
it's in
Which
there.
I believe we heard this week.
Yeah, we did. Nigel, I freaking hate you. Anyway, go on.
Jimmy Havoc.
Next. Oh, sorry, Jimmy Havoc.
Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy Havoc, gross. That's all I can say. Last week's match, I just can't stand the whole paper cutting thing. It just makes me go cringe, you know?
Yeah, that's just... yeah.
I don't think he brings a lot to wrestling right now. You know, I don't like it. Jimmy Havoc, I'm not even angry at you. I'm just like dismissing you. You suck. Next.
Madman Fulton.
Okay, now I'm starting to get mad. Okay, Madman Fulton, idiot. Next.
Miguel Cole.
Okay, Miguel Cole. Now you've awakened the giant. Oh, Miguel Cole. I am going to send moths. Oh, yeah, I'm going to send moths to you and see how fast you get eaten, you stupid rag. You know what? I'm going to, because Rick Serrano III lives with him and has to put up with his crap, I am going to keep him in the book, but I'm not going to talk anymore this week about Miguel Cole. Next, please.
Nigel McGuinness.
You really want to get me mad, huh? Okay, Nigel McGuinness. I used to respect your wrestling. I used to think you were a pretty good wrestler. You are what we like to in Canada affectionately call the drizzling shits. That's how bad of an announcer you are. You're just like Renee Young, only at least she's got boobs. You're just a boob. You talk like you know stuff, but all you talk is nonsense and stupid phrases. You make me sick, Nigel McGuinness. If you were here and you had a bag with your DVDs and your championship belts that you ever won in them, I'd literally puke in it and set it on fire and give it back to you.
Damn.
You're still in the book.
Damn, TJ, tell us how you really feel.
Next.
Sammy Callahan.
Keep your bodily fluids to yourself, pig. When Selena called you the fat, disgusting, sweaty warthog, I thought, wow, she's really insulting fat, disgusting, sweaty warthogs, comparing them to this goof. No, Sammy Callahan, you're gross, man. You're the kind of guy that, you know, I want to take a shower if you're even on the same bus as I am. You're that disgusting. You're in the book, loser.
That updater from MLW, Casey, I believe you said her name was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. She just pathetically, she makes me mad because she is like... she is Nigel McGuinness without, well, I was going to say without testicles, but I don't think Nigel McGuinness has testicles. All right, let's just say she's the girl Nigel McGuinness of MLW. Sucks. Next.
The Chris brothers.
They're not even worth getting mad at. They're just gross losers. Guys, go wash your laundry, learn a few wrestling moves, and I don't know, just take a bath. God, hanging around with Callahan automatically makes you stink. Next.
Then we have The Hunt.
The Hunt. Oh my goodness. You're not even worth getting mad at. You guys are just like jokes. You're like the cartoon version. You remind me of in the day when they used to have the WWE cartoon and they'd have everyone dressed, you know, like, or even Camp WWE where everyone's like a ridiculous looking midget. That's what they are. They're ridiculous looking midgets with bad facial hair. I think really they need to get Dave Mastiff and they need to form a unit and call themselves the Lawn Gnomes. You know, they should just wear stupid hats, hang out, and get kicked over because they're ridiculous.
And
Next.
no one even knows if they're heels or faces, but we don't care.
Oh, nobody cares.
Tommy Dreamer is the final entry.
Tommy Dreamer. Oh, Tommy Dreamer. The disgust I have for you is just... ugh. You know what? I don't mind old wrestlers. I don't mind old wrestlers who contribute. I hate old wrestlers who waste oxygen, who take up time that better wrestlers should be using. I don't get you, Tommy Dreamer. You're not a very good wrestler. You're not entertaining whatsoever. I'd rather watch paint peel. I'd rather watch a spider fall into a web. I mean, you're just so damn boring and useless and ugh. Next.
That was the final entry. Wow, TJ's not having any of it this week.
No, I'm not, because you know what I'm going to do? I am adding someone back into the book.
Uh-oh.
And you know, when you go back into the book, you get a special little asterisk to say, you were a loser who escaped this book, but now you're back.
And who would that be?
And this week, the person with a stupid playing card and his gay-ass little, and I don't mean that as, slur against homosexuals, but just that ridiculous cane and that ridiculous card and a stupid haircut and the face you just want to punch repeatedly till he's dead.
Can I take a guess?
Ace Austin.
Ace Austin.
You just made the book! Oh, shame.
There we go.
Ace Austin, yes. You're back in the book, loser. No way. Yuck.
Did he do that on MLW?
Oh, yeah. He like gets in the ring. He rolls that little weird ass roll in the ring. Then he spins over, pulls the card out. Then he flicks his wrist and a cane comes flying out. And I'm just like, you know what?
Wow.
People hate kids who do magic tricks. You're just a stupid kid doing magic tricks, man. I can get that stupid trick card and your stupid little cane down at the stupid magic store. But oh wait, the stupid magic store isn't open anymore because nobody likes magic, you loser.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
So that's the book for this week. And Ace Austin is the newest edition.
I you know what, Elio? It's cathartic that we do this, but I am drained right now. I've let so much anger out. Folks, you know what? I'm going to let Elio tell you all about how you can get a hold of us, where you can contact us, hear us. You know what? Give them all that social media stuff, buddy.
You can reach us at Facebook by going to Wrestling POV Podcast, on Instagram at Wrestling POV1, and on Twitter at Wrestling POV.
Well, you know what, fans? We really enjoy when you tune in. We love that you listen to us. We love when you interact with us. Please drop us a note on Facebook at the Wrestling POV podcast page.
Yes.
You can address it to Global. You can address it to, maybe it's a restraining order against the gentleman. Maybe it's just a happy birthday and $100 bill sent over to the legend. Either way, we want to hear what you guys are about, and we just want to say thank you.
Yep. And you can.
We want to say our.
You can tune.
You can what? Sorry.
And you can tune in. You can find Global and Wrestling POV at Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, iHeartRadio.
And that's right, folks. Try out the other wrestling podcast, Wrestling POV podcast. It's fun. Rick Serrano III, Tony, Mimi, and Miguel. They have a very humorous look. Like I swear, sometimes. I can be so mad watching, Raw because it's just so badly booked that week that I can't watch it, but I can sit and listen to those guys talk about it, dissect it, and have some fun with it because, man, I should actually, because I'm so mad about the book right now, I should probably, after this, I'm going to go back and re-listen to last week's episode. I was on last week, so I'll go a week back so I don't have to hear my own dumb voice. But I'll go back and listen to the guys, and I guarantee you it'll cheer me up. So, folks, you know what? All of our fans across the United States and Canada, we want to thank you so much. And we want to send special thank yous out to the people in Germany, all across England, Ireland, all across Europe, Australia, Hong Kong, and I could not forget our friends out in Russia because, hey, they're scary people. And we love you. We love you that much. We'll tell you. We're scared enough to tell you we love you. So we send all of our love out to all our fans across this whole globe from Global. Elio, thank you once again. It was great talking with you. It was great going over wrestling. Love sharing this with you, brother. We'll see you next week. I'm your first host, the legend T. James Logan, and with me, Elio Canella. Elio, say goodbye to the people and tell them you love them.
All right, listeners, we'll talk to you all next week.
You didn't say you loved them, man. What the hell?
We love you, fans.